Didn't it have something to do with somebody dropping out at the last minute though too?
No, that was not me. I was a mock. Wait, is that what you heard?
I thought that you were working on a show and they said somebody dropped out. We need somebody. If you promise to wear a hat the whole time, you can go.
No, because they had me for
You did wear a hat the whole time, right?
I did. I wasn't allowed. I was the only person who was allowed to wear a hat. Everyone.
Why couldn't you take the hat off?
Because it's a bad. Ratings will just go through the dirt.
This is the Garage Boozing Podcast.
What's up, nerds, and welcome back to another episode of the Garage Boozing Podcast. I'm your host, the man with absolutely no plan, the Chase with the face for radio, Chase Shurga. And boy, do I have one hell of an episode for you guys today. I am joined by MTV's Ethan and Joe from Are You the One Season 6, which happens to be one of my favorite MTV shows of all time. That's actually how I found out about both these guys, followed them on social media, interacted a little bit. They ended up following me back, and what do you know, a couple years later, I got them on my podcast. So hell yeah, we have a great conversation. We talk all about Are You the One, their casting process, inside secrets of filming, stuff like that, and so much more. The conversation goes all over the place. You know how we do here in the garage. Yeah, all bets are off. And I had such a good conversation with these two, and I know they had a good time too, so thank you guys for coming. I'm sure these two will be back again because the banter was fantastic, and I know you guys are going to love it. And this is my first virtual interview, so this is the first time my guests were not in the garage with me, but I was in the garage, so that's all that counts. So without further ado, folks, you know what time it is. It's time to sit back, relax, kick your feet up, crack open a cold one, and if you're really feeling fruity, take a shot. Why not? Because this week's episode of the Garage Boozing Podcast starts now.
Oh, yeah, and support for the Garage Boozing Podcast. It is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped will help you trim up the family jewels to make everything nice and right for the ladies. Make sure that you're using promo code TGBP20 for 20% off your Manscaped products. Oh, yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Garage Boozing Podcast. Today, I am joined by two very special guests. This is my first virtual podcast. Most of the time we do this in the garage, but my friends are out in Portland and LA. We have Ethan Cohen, and we also have Joe Torgerson. Guys, thank you for joining me. Welcome to the show.
No problem.
Thank you. So we're friends then.
I would think so, right?
I mean, I don't know. We've never met in person. Usually I like to catch
Well,
you.
that's the thing. You got me on that TV show that never aired. And then I was in LA and you're like, yeah, dude, we'll hang out. And I text you like, oh, dude, I can't make it. You just ditched me. But it's cool. It's cool, dude.
Are you even in LA?
No, I'm in New York, but I went to LA.
You.
So
You're obviously not in LA. Ethan, are you?
Yeah,
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in LA. I was in Sonoma for a little bit, but just back here being a loner and getting people on TV shows. I got Chase. It's Chase, right? Yeah.
Yes,
I got Chase on a show. It was a Chrissy Teigen show, but then Chrissy Teigen got canceled on Twitter, so
Yep.
they wouldn't air it. Yeah,
she was. I met John Legend, and that was the coolest part of that whole experience. The guy came out like high as a kite in the middle of the court show. It was so funny. But like, I just wish there was like some sort of video or picture or something I had from it, dude. It was just wild. But
I have some questions for John Legend, but I'll probably never get to ask him because he's probably a robot anyways. Who can put up with her?
Yeah, right. Dude,
and
he was
just smiling the whole time. Just
he was like literally like, so there was something like in the court case, there was something that had to come down to math and she couldn't do it. So she's like, John, and John just like came out of like the back closet or whatever. And he's wearing this like Gucci sweatshirt. It's all white, just Gucci and black. Comes out, his eyes are really open.
He answers the math question, and then he pushes back into the closet.
Exactly what happened, literally.
He's literally just chained to his piano. That's all he does.
Yeah, right. All right, so first question I have for you guys, obviously where I got to know, well, not got to know you guys, but where I learned about both of you guys was, Are You the One? So at this point, like, do you guys have like a non-disclosure, like you can talk about things or?
Yeah, we've been talking about it the day we got off. Are You the One?
Oh, sick. All right, cool.
A bunch of shit we shouldn't have said.
We got a cease and desist letter from what was the company?
I don't know.
The Viacom. I think.
Yeah,
did?
that's MTV's like media company, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're the ones that gave us the cease and desist. And then
For what?
remember-
Relevant TV?
yeah.
Oh shit.
You got a season desist for that?
Yeah, like because we were like having people who were either on shows that hadn't aired yet, like on there, like making out with someone else who wasn't on that season. And so I'm guessing if somebody saw that, they'd be like, well, it didn't work out for them as they're watching the show go on. You know what I mean?
So was it
Like, well, I
Relevant
just saw-
TV or was it like, it was Staying Relevant was the name, right?
Yeah, still staying relevant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So for people that don't know, what was Staying Relevant while it was a thing?
So when we were doing the show, nobody liked me and Ethan, kind of. Ethan's was a little more understandable. Mine was more because I would try to tell them the truth of what was going on because my ex had been on the show. She's the only one who ever lost, told me like it's not real, kind of. Like what you see is real. They put you in situations to create what they want and then they edit it to show things in a way that they want. So it's like mostly editing and situational, but also like it's not really up to us if we win or not. You know what I mean? Like,
Is that true?
Absolutely. So before every matchup, they would have you sign a piece of paper where you say, all right, my first pick is her, second is her, third is her. Then you sign it. And they're like, okay, so everybody signed it. They have everybody's 1, 2, 3 pick. If all three are gone, you pick whoever you want, but you have to go in order of who's left, basically. So then they can go and in order of who picks, that then decides how many beams we get based on the pre-position matches or whatever. You know what I mean? So if they look at our picks and they're like, holy shit, they could get a lot this week. But based on the way the show is going to air and what people are going to see and what the fans are going to think, like whether we're buying into the program kind of or not, that's basically how they determine how many matches you get every week. It's like if everybody was talking to their no match and everybody was not like doing what they're supposed to do, then they want to see low beams so that the show makes sense to the audience. And we were doing that the whole time, you know, and they told us that they sent those, like, they told us they sent it off to like New York and did like a raffle and then drew from like a hat. And they're like, oh, Ethan's first and then Joe. But really, it's like if I was going to pick Uche and Ethan was also going to, because she's my match, they're all right, Ethan goes before Joe so that he doesn't get it correct. So
that's why after we would choose our matches, we would literally be sitting in a room for 2 hours while they do this, sometimes 3 hours, while they do this math problem to calculate how many matches we're going to get this week. You know?
So with that being said, you get no matches, you lose half your money. With them putting you in order to determine how many beams you get, that means they can just take our money if they want to. And I read that in the contract. Do you remember the first day?
Yeah.
So we sat in vans for like, what was it, like 8 hours?
Yeah.
Jesus.
We weren't allowed to talk to each other because we hadn't supposedly met yet or anything. Some of us went across the hall and everything. Dimitri.
So you sat in vans with people and you couldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
This is the first day.
Yeah. Just the guys in the dude. There was like all 11 guys in one van and we were just like looking at each other and couldn't say anything because they needed to save that. And then they would threaten to fine us $500 if we talk to each other. It was crazy.
So real quick. Oh, go ahead.
Because if, let's say, me and Malcolm start talking and he's like, oh, I'm a rapper from Florida. I'm like, oh, I'm a weed guy from Portland. And then we build a relationship. They didn't get that on camera. So then when they do start rolling the cameras, me and Malcolm are already friends and people are like, did they know each other before this? How did that happen? It's supposed to be all strangers. You know what I mean? So they want to get every relationship built on camera. So when the cameras aren't rolling, you're not allowed to speak. So there's a lot of what they called hard ice every day when they were like changing the cameras around, moving stuff around. If the cameras weren't rolling, you're not allowed to talk. So the first day, there was some issue with the set, whatever, because I think they did it low budget. That's why we were the only one to do it in a swamp and on an island, probably for tax purposes. I'm guessing they were trying to save some money on our season. And so I think they had less camera people, less of a crew. And so let's go. I don't even know who that is. Oh, that's the ugly guy. I'm watching the game.
It's the ugly guy.
Brunson. He's good. He does have a big head. I forget who tweeted that. Josh Hart. But anyways, so we're sitting there in the van and all they have for us is like snacks, like chips, pretzels, like just little tiny bags of snacks, like little mini water bottles that we run out of and they bring them back. We're like, when is this going to start? It's probably like 110 degrees in that van. So we're all hungry and hot.
Could you piss?
Huh? Well, yeah, we just went and pissed on a tree whenever we felt like it, you know. But I mean, it was like 8 hours. And then we finally get out there. We do the first challenge, which is girls raising their hand based on a picture. not a challenge at all, not barely even a game. And that takes
I still won, so I think it's a game. I won that.
Yeah. Well, out of the 3 things that they picked for me, they were like, send us 3 things that are like special to you. I didn't know what they were going to use it for. I said a water polo ball, something about my dog, and this coin that I use for poker, because that's the way that me and my dad bonded before we became as close as we are now, was through like playing poker and stuff. And they picked the fucking coin. And so it's like a picture of a coin on there. It's like, it's not even actually money. It's like a fake coin with dolphins on it. So it's like, if it was money, then you could see like every girl would have raised their hand. You know what I mean? I would have won first. But because it was fake money, that's exactly what they came there to avoid. Anyways, the point of this whole story is that after what's now been probably 11 hours without any real food, we go in the house and they say, all right, go crazy. And there's just liquor and beer everywhere. Probably the most they ever gave us the entire season.
Oh, yeah. That set the tone, and we were like, oh my God, we're going to be drinking all day, every day. But then we'll tell you later what the alcohol situation was, because it wasn't great.
Yeah. Anyways, it was great at first. And so everybody's getting just schmammered. And me, being the plus size princess that I am, made 2 Hot Pockets right off the bat. My Hot Pocket to beer ratio was pretty much 1-to-1 for the first half an hour. So
just first instinct was to go into the fridge and call dibs on all his favorite junk food.
Did you say a Hot Pocket to beer ratio?
Yeah, it was pretty much 1-to-1 for the first 30 minutes. And I was hungry. And it was just, I was like, I don't want to be the guy who blacks out the first day, because as Ethan knows, when I black out, anything is possible. And none of it's good. Oh my
God, yeah.
Like when I wet the bed, so it wasn't even my bed. I stood up and peed on the bed next to mine. So everybody's just drunk as shit. I'm probably the least drunk person there. And then they're like, all right, we need you all to like gather in the living room. And they hand out these packets that are our contracts. And my ex had told me a similar situation with the season before, where they're like, yeah, we were all drunk and we were just signing those. I'm looking over and everybody's just like initial. And I'm like, I'm going to read a couple pages, like some keywords.
Oh yeah. That's so weird. After they got us hammered.
Then they have you sign the contract, right?
I forgot about
so you didn't sign the contract before you were there?
And then
no.
Dude, that's nuts. Yeah, no, they had us sign this contract, and then they had us like have our initial meeting with the producers after we're mingling for 3 hours. And those 3 hours, everyone knew where their place was in the season. I knew I was the outcast. Malcolm knew he was gonna make girls fight over him. You just knew, right?
I knew that I made a mistake.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe you didn't sign the contract before. They do that.
Like we signed something before. We agreed to go. We like agreed to like not talk about it. We agreed to like not. There's like probably the NDA was probably before, but like the real meat of the contract was like 3 hours into being in the house, or 2 hours, whatever it was. So everybody's drunk, and I'm looking at it and they're like, we have the right to take money whenever, like all this kind of stuff, like the matches or this and that. Like I was just like, well, I hope I at least have fun. And I assumed we were going to lose the money. And then we ended up winning. But throughout the process, people would be like trying to just be together with like, oh, I love her. Remember Olivia and Kareem? They were in love after like one day, maybe 7 hours, something like that. And they do starve you for dopamine, attention, serotonin. They sequester you. I think it was like 10 days in a hotel with just styrofoam meals. And you had like basic cable. Remember, where were we getting food from?
Oh, McAllister's every single day. McAllister's Deli.
What's a McAllister?
So it's just a deli. It's just like some shitty. It's like decent. It would have been better if it was like you bought it there. But it's like getting delivered from a cart, styrofoam. Whoever's in the last room gets the worst shit. But I could have sworn me and Dimitri were at the end of the hall. So I don't know if there was a floor above us, but like my shit was never not a little soggy. Anyway, so you're in there, you don't have your phone, you don't have your internet, no books, not that I read, but like no contact with the outside world. Like all these girls are used to getting a lot of attention. I'm used to at least having friends, you know what I mean? So everybody's starved for attention. So when they get in there and they get drunk, they're just like the first person that looks good that gives them attention, like probably on like a brain chemistry way, they're like overly flooded with these emotions, kind of, which is probably just a chemical reaction to being drunk and the first attention you've gotten in a while. But anyways, so I forgive them for being fucking stupid. But
I forgive them.
But like day one, they're all like in love, like, oh, that's mine. I'm like, I'm severely disappointed in the amount of talent here. Not that I'm such a catch, but I was just like, I came here for something better. I had a girlfriend at the time, you know what I mean?
Wait, you had a girlfriend at the time that you went on the show?
Yeah, because by the
Oh
time
wait, I think I knew that. They disclosed that, right?
No.
She
No?
wouldn't call it. She wouldn't call it a relationship, but Joe.
No,
said it.
definitely not anymore. When I was leaving, I bet probably, but not anymore. But
Was this Taylor?
I don't like talking about it.
Sorry.
I mean, I don't really care, but I just feel like, you know,
Sure.
separation, you know, she fucking. But we had gotten back together like not long before I left, and I didn't expect that, but I had already agreed to do it, and I was like, I want to do it, you know, like you did it, I want to do it. But then I got there and I was like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have done this. I just missed her, honestly. But still do. Just kidding. So anyways, yeah. So like these people after a day or two, like when they would go in and find out they weren't a match, like Gillespie and Anthony, like they were just like, they're wrong, we're right. I was like, trust me, they're definitely wrong. I don't think you're right. But like, if we're going to win, you got to just at least pretend, like just wait until we get back. We got like 2 weeks left and you guys can fucking go off and get married. I was like, if you can't pretend not to like each other in a house that you live together for like 2 weeks, it's not going to work out there. And I would say stuff like that all the time. Remember, they'd be like, you're just mad. Nobody wants to fuck you, Joe. And I'm like, a little, but, and
yeah,
I was trying
to explain when sex is out of the question, all we were thinking about was winning and money and strategy. But because we weren't letting our dicks talk. My dick stopped working after the first 5 days because it was like, all right, I'm just going to take a vacation. This ain't happening here. So we had like 4 guys who were trying to play the game the right way. And we were like the adult chaperones at a middle school dance, breaking people apart. That's what it felt like.
1 foot apart. Right?
I think we're now like 10 minutes into why everybody hated me and Ethan, honestly. And this could have been a much smaller segment, but like, and for me, like I read the contract, I had insider information. So I was trying to use that to steer and like talk to them like kind of off camera and be like, look, man, I get it. I don't give a shit about you guys and your stuff, but I know for a fact that they can make us lose if you don't do what they want. And then even if I was trying to be sneaky and talk in the pool when I don't have a microphone on, Scott still, well, the executive producer still like heard me and then came and yelled at me and was like threatening to kick me off and stuff like that. And I was like, can I have my phone back at least? And he was like fuming at me. And I was like, I'm just telling them what I read in the contract. He was like, well, if that's what you read, then you can talk about it. But like, if it's not what you read, if it's what she told you, like blah, 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 blah. He was mad that I read the contract. Anyway, so nobody liked me and Ethan. And we were kind of like, when we got to the real world, you know, you guys are going to probably wish you were friends with us. And then when it was all said and done, we did become friends with a lot of them more so than we were there. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna have a party. You can all come. And then I think it was your idea or my idea, somebody's idea for us to like film it. So we had like 30 people, not just from our season, come out to Portland. We tried to film it. The people that we hired were just like local videographers. And they all looked at our Instagrams and who we were and everything. None of them had watched the show, I'm sure. I mean, why would they have, you know? But so they made a music video out of 4 days of like sex and drama. So it's like the amount of like Ethan had a threesome while we were there, and like Malcolm did some stuff, and like some of the girls liked some of the guys, and there was drama between people who had broken up since the show. And it would have been great. It would have been a great series, but it was just it was just shitty because of the videographers not really like, I guess, understanding the assignment. And then we made a video, and people were like, the amount of like social media buzz that we got from all being together, posting together was like wild. Like everybody was like bouncing.
Dude, you did it at the best time too, because like you guys were so hot. You just came off the show, you know? So like the whole series was so entertaining.
People from other seasons and other shows were coming, and it was just like a big crossover. It was like a Marvel movie. But
literally though, yeah, you're right. It literally was like a Marvel movie.
Right. But the movie was bad because the production was bad. So then somebody, a friend that we knew, I don't want to say everybody's names and stuff because who cares, but she had like a rich friend who like wanted to like invest in the project, and what I thought was just a waste of time and I'll just have parties, but I'm not going to put a bunch of money into it and make it a big deal. He was like, come use my house in Connecticut, I'll like pay up front for stuff, we'll get better videography and stuff. And that probably was the best weekend of like filming and action that we did get.
Was that the place like on the mountains? There was like mountains, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it was more like it was on a cliff.
Okay, yeah.
Remember the backyard, that view we had? But that was sick. It was fun. A bunch of people went there, and then we tried to do it again in LA. And LA is the one where we got the cease and desist, probably because we had reached out to people from the season that hadn't even aired or was still airing. And so they were saying, like, if you show this person like acting single when in our show we want people to care about the relationship we're building, then like we are gonna sue the shit out of you or whatever. And I was like, I don't think you can, but
I don't think they can, right?
I don't know, but that ended up being a mess anyways, because one guy cheated on his girlfriend and knew that he got filmed, so he smashed our hard drive.
Yeah.
And then
he smashed. Oh, I would have been pissed.
No, we don't know that for sure, but
we couldn't prove it, but it looked like it got
hard drive. I got the hard drive repaired, and they were like, "It looks like someone tried to damage this, like threw it on the ground," because he knew it only makes sense.
But the footage was corrupted. It was a huge waste of my money this time. The guy that we kind of partnered with, I mean, none of this can be proven, but we had like 150 ticket sales for people to come to our New Year's party. And I think it was like 50.
I remember that.
Didn't one person pay like $500 for like a special, like get to like spend a day with us kind of deal?
Well, we had a guy who was working with us by the name of Davey, and Davey, and I'll say his name, I don't even care. He got caught for being a scammer. He was scamming some people on the internet, and
you're gonna be the next Amber Heard. You're gonna get a defamation lawsuit.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying
Davey won't hear this.
So
he
won't hear.
He wasn't even the problem, honestly. But somebody did pay, or maybe two. I think it was like $1,000 for people to like get like a special experience with us, which is funny because now Paulie, who's one of my best friends, he's doing these events where people pay more than they would normally pay to stay at a place to get to like experience the weekend with them.
That guy's a fucking animal.
He is. And I know Morgan's doing a trip in October, I think, where people pay to like go on vacation with them. Another girl who is there is doing that right now. I forget where she's at, but people pay. Basically, it's like if it's an all-inclusive resort for $1,500 a week, you might pay $2,250 or something like that. And you get to like have dinners with them. And a lot of these people who do this are like fitness people, and you get to like do their workouts, and like, it's like an experience. But like, I kind of feel like we coined that a little bit. Somebody might've done it before. Maybe I'm being cocky. I don't know, but we did that. And so we sold all these tickets. Like that party was smacking. You remember that was fun.
The LA one, yeah, it was crazy.
But like the revenue from the party was probably like 150 times 50 or something like that. Whatever, man. So what's that, like $7,500 or something? I don't know. I'm not that good at math. But unless I'm right, then I'm good at math.
I don't know.
Do it real quick. I want to know if I'm right. 150 times 50.
Math.
100.
You guys have phones.
That's
600, 750. I think it's 9,000.
No way. I'm right. Anyways, multiply by 10 divided by 2. Whatever. This does not matter. None of that money went to me at all. None of it. It like all just disappeared. Like we like asked people, they're like, oh yeah, like our cards got like swiped at the front door and like the money came out. And so like I think I spent like $12,000 on that weekend with like the production and like the house and the food and the alcohol and just making everybody comfortable, all the mattresses that I bought. And so just another event where it became not financially sustainable to do. And then I was going to have another party in Portland, maybe film it, maybe take it into our own hands. In Connecticut, some of the best footage was on our phones, honestly. But, and then COVID, I don't know, can we say COVID is going to get censored?
Yeah, I don't care.
A mild flu came over the nation, and then all of a sudden.
COVID's fake, bro.
What'd you say?
I said COVID's fake.
I mean, I think it's a real flu.
Yeah. When's the last time you heard someone say, oh, I have the flu? No, they don't have the flu. They got COVID, bro.
Actually, somebody told me they had the flu today. They said they got tested negative for COVID. They've been sick. But what's I don't even know if it's fake. I mean, the numbers are definitely exaggerated as far as people get like dying in a motorcycle crash. And then like now they're starting to like slowly change things where they're like kind of like moving things over to dying of COVID versus with COVID. And so I think that's one of the biggest like glaring things that like rocked our nation, is that they were seeing both and not seeing the difference. Kind of like old people were dying of COVID, young people were dying with COVID. You know what I mean? If they were transparent about that, nobody would have been as afraid as they were.
Absolutely. So real quick, back to the Are You the One thing. For people that are listening that have never seen the show, can you give me like a quick rundown of Are You the One?
I love that we just went on a 15-minute tangent about we didn't even
I'm good at tangents.
For 15 minutes about a minor spin.
No, I think his question was, did we sign an NDA or are we allowed to talk about it? And now
that was my original question. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you can talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's clear now.
It was a yes or no question. Yes.
So quick rundown of the show though. Like tell me about this, like just tell me this, like the plot of the show real quick.
Ethan?
Okay, yeah. So basically 11 well, on our season there were 10 hot guys and 11 hot girls all in the house together. And then me. And
then me.
Basically, your perfect match is in the house. It's been predetermined by matchmakers, and the point of the show is to meet everybody, to date around, play games with them, and then determine who your perfect match is. If you all find your perfect match by the end of the show, then you all split $1 million. So you're all on you win or lose as a team together. It's not an elimination show. It's not like every man or woman for themselves. You're all like playing this game together. And when and then like every episode there's a truth booth where two people who are feeling each other can go into the truth booth. They get voted in and they could find out if they're a match or not. If they're not a match, or if they're not a match and that's determined, then they're pretty much not allowed. They get shamed if they spend any time together in the house.
Because why? They're wasting their time. They're wasting everybody's time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're there for somebody else.
So the huge term was a no match couple. There's another no match couple like Anthony and Gilles, Malcolm and Nerys, a bunch of people who we had.
You and Kiana.
What?
You and Kiana.
We didn't even make eye contact one time.
But you both liked music.
You had that in common. You both like music. So you guys didn't know each other before the show, obviously, right?
No. I feel like me and Joe would have been. I would have thought Joe was the coolest guy that I'd be too shy to approach.
So like, how did you guys hear about the show? Like for both of you, like what, like how'd you hear about it, and what made you guys apply?
I don't know whose story's better.
Yeah, I mean, we both kind of had inside. We both kind of got through the back door. I heard about the show because I initially auditioned for Wild and Out. That's what my audition was for on MTV.
That would have been dope.
And then I during my Wild and Out audition, it was a day after I got my heart broken by this girl, my next door neighbor, who told me she was dating a writer and wasn't going to date me. So I went on like a 15-minute rant they're like, so Ethan, why do you love rapping? And I was like, fuck rapping. I want to talk about love and how much bullshit. And then I just like went on a crazy rant about this girl who broke my heart and about how much I hate love. And then it ended up being, then the casting director of Are You the One saw that tape because he was in the same building as the Wild and Out team. And then he just asked me to audition for Are You the One, which I had never heard of before. But I was like, honestly, fuck it. Clout me up, daddy. So, I said yes. And then here we are.
Didn't it have something to do with somebody dropping out at the last minute though too?
No, that was not me. I was a mock. Wait, is that what you heard?
I thought that you were working on a show and they said somebody dropped out. We need somebody. If you promise to wear a hat the whole time, you can go.
No, because they had me for
You did wear a hat the whole time, right?
I did. I wasn't allowed. I was the only person who was allowed to wear a hat. Everyone.
Why couldn't you take the hat off?
Because it's a bad. Ratings will just go through the dirt. It was
mine.
Yeah,
mine was because the girl you mentioned, we had like a thing, like wasn't super serious, but like we were like kind of together for a while, and she'd applied for the season before that my fiance ended up being on, and then I think either before season 4 or after season 4, like the owner or the writer or somebody died in a shark attack. And then the show like changed hands. Yeah, I know that's just crazy to even say. But and then the show changed hands or like creative control changed hands or something like that. And from what I understand is that instead of like remaking the wheel and doing a whole new casting process for the following season, because I think they were contemplating if they were even going to do it again without him. What I was told is that they went back through people who had previously, like they already had the file on these people and they just picked the ones that they liked. And in my personal opinion, they took the show in a different direction to what my friends and family lovingly refer to as Fuck Pile Island. From where originally, from just what I can gather, I haven't watched a ton of the shows, the seasons. I've watched like a couple episodes of a couple, but I know a lot of the people. And from what I can gather, it was originally supposed to be like a Bachelor style spinoff where any couple there who fell in love and they were a match could have like gone home, got married, bought a house, had kids. Like they were like ready for this to work. And so it's like the last step they need is somebody to help them find their right person. Whereas from season 5 and on, I feel like the castmates or the talent, whatever, like got progressively younger and messier. And so I feel like, but I don't know. I mean, I know there was like some people with serious road rage on previous seasons. And as Shad showed us, you can lie your way through these interviews. So I don't really know. I wasn't there. But basically what I can gather is that they picked people from old seasons. They were kind of like, let's make it a little messier, a little more fun, a little younger. And the girl that I was with got picked. And because of how much they try to scare you about, like, if it leaks that you're in the cast, you're going to be cut from the cast because this has to be a surprise. So she didn't even tell me what the show was. I thought it was Survivor. It was like a chance to make a bunch of money or whatever. Ironically, the only season that ever lost. But about halfway through, a girl that I was in college with was like, I think based on where she said she was, I think she's on this show. I was like, oh, fuck. I started watching like the season that was available, which was season 4. And I was like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
This isn't going to go well for me. And it didn't. You know, she found some stuff there. And so then like a while after that, I saw something about like apply to be on it. And I applied strictly out of spite. Like, fuck you, you went and left me. I'm going to go do the same thing and be all cool. So it wasn't even really a backdoor, probably until like the very end or even after I had been selected, because I didn't mention that at all. I just
You didn't. I was going to say, I thought that would help you.
No, because I think if they knew that you knew someone from previous season, they wouldn't want you on there because you would know their dirty little secrets about the matching and all that kind of stuff. And they want people to be like fully immersed in the thing. Like we filled out thousands probably of questionnaires and different stuff like personality tests, IQ tests. Like theoretically, if there was going to be somebody who's going to know you well enough to pick somebody for you to fall in love with, it would be whoever read those pages. But I don't think anybody ever read them. Personally, I think they picked us based on looks and personality. And then they said, we'll figure it out when they get there. And if we want to win, we will.
Yeah, no, you don't.
But it was some serious Kool-Aid to get there of being like, this is all real. There's someone here who's better for me than anybody I'll ever meet without it, kind of. So if you say like, oh, I know somebody who was on it, then they'll probably be like, well, those people might have told you that the no matches have to, literally have to. So I was worried about that. So I didn't mention it until later. And then it ended up getting me on X on the Beach because obviously they found out. And they found out at some point, either right before or during, because she came on the show as my ex, even though we weren't, I wouldn't say we were exes in any way at that time. But so it wasn't really a backdoor thing, but I applied out of spite. And as you can see, the way that I rant and ramble, when they asked me a question about myself, I ranted and rambled, and they called me like a few days after I submitted it. And they were like, this is the longest application we've ever written. I was like, will you send it back to me? That's like most of my autobiography right there. I don't want to I don't think I can come up with that same stuff again. But yeah, so I got picked that way. But I did it because of spite.
Draft Top. The Draft Top was designed to give you a better all-around drinking experience, and let me tell you how. You take your Draft Top bar tool, put it on top of your adult beverage, give it a little squeeze, not too hard, a little bit of friction, a little to the left, a little to the right, a little to the left, a little to the right, and wha-bam. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see me demonstrate this. If you're listening, I'm sorry, you just got to hear me talk. But yeah, then you pop your Draft Top off, take this, push it down just a tad, and now your beer just became a cup. So forget about wasting plastic, pouring your beer can into a cup, into a red Solo cup, if you will. It doesn't matter because now your Draft Top just made your beer into a cup. So now you can chug your beer a hell of a lot faster. You can smell the aroma of the alcohol. The experience of drinking here is just so much better thanks to Draft Top. So go get yours now. I want you to have one. You want you to have one. And you can get your own Draft Top at www.drafttop.com. And don't forget to use promo code GarageBoozing for 10% off site-wide. That's right. It doesn't matter what you get in your Draft Top cart, 10% off site-wide using promo code GarageBoozing. You know how to spell it. Don't be a fool. Buy your Draft Top right now. Treat yourself. You deserve it. All right, back to the show. Obviously, you guys said you didn't know each other before the show. What were your first impressions of each other? Honest first impressions.
I'll let Joe take that one.
Well, Ethan, I honestly was kind of like, I thought he like snuck out of one of the production like vans and just kind of like saddled his way up next to like the people who were supposed to be there, you know? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I was looking around. I thought like I wasn't sure how I was gonna like size up to some of these people. Like Tyler's like 7 feet tall. Malcolm looks like he was chiseled out of marble. Michael looks like a autonomously correct Ken doll. I felt like there was like a lot of swag there, and like my personality, like my thing is like they told me what to wear, and I wore like a Nike golf shirt with like some random like I don't remember what kind of shorts I wore.
Is that what they told you to wear?
Yeah, they went through my bag trying to pick out my like first day outfit and stuff, and we're kind of like, what the fuck is all this shit? And I was like, I don't know. I like to be comfy. And they're like, all right, so we're gonna put you in this like polo and whatever. And I just thought that like I didn't really fit the aesthetic of Ethan could probably agree with me on that for his own experience too. But I felt like
his face.
I felt like, I don't know, like my allure is usually like personality based, like being clever, sometimes funny. You know, I used to be really hot. Like I had like 8-pack sitting down kind of thing, but like I fully let that go and still got on to like a hot person show. I think mostly based off of personality. And it was also clear to me on the first day that wasn't going to get very far. The conversations were all pretty skin deep, you know, and I was just like, well, I guess I might be the funny one on the show. And some of the interviews that I had and some of the conversations me and Ethan had and other people were so funny. I personally think, and some of they'd ask me questions about the girls, I would answer it and have the producer just rolling, and none of it made it to air because it didn't fit the everyone's here to find love, you know, whatever. So I was surprised with the amount of airtime that I did get, honestly. But my impression of Ethan, he did this rap right away, which was surprisingly good. Now I know that was the song he wrote in like 2008. And he already he had that on the inside of his cap lid just in case.
Had it memorized.
Yeah, I was like, that's fucking cool. I was like, this guy seems pretty cool. I didn't really think that much about the guys, kind of. I mean, there's a little bit of a competition factor, but like I said, like I kind of went there with the thing of like, if this is a real deal and I find something perfect for me, like me and my ex had already had, you know, whatever drama, I was like, this could be a good next chapter. But like in the like couple weeks leading up to me leaving, like we had spent like some great time together. And I was kind of like, unless somebody really sticks out to me, like I just am going to do this for, you know, fun, for followers, for whatever, you know, like so that me and her could have something, a little bit of clout, go on the challenge, some stuff like that, which apparently I don't have the knees for. I've had some really bad knee injuries and I had never even watched it before, and I probably would get hurt right away anyway. So they have a point there. But
you never watched a challenge before that?
No. I didn't start watching it until after X on the Beach when I became friends with Pauly.
Really?
I'd never seen it before. I don't think I'd seen an MTV show other than when I found out that my ex was on the show. I watched one of the seasons. I watched a few episodes of what was available. I saw like the sexuality of the show and was just like, oh, I'm so fucked in this relationship. But like the last time before that I consistently watched MTV was probably when they still had music videos.
Yeah, like back in like middle school days.
But so for me, it was like a little bit of like what's the competition like, you know? But more so, we're supposed to stare straight ahead, and there's a big TV screen, so I'm looking at reflections of boobs, really, because that's where it was lined up. Honestly, like I mean, I look over to the left and I can see their faces, but if I look at the reflection of the screen, all I see is honestly Zoe's boobs. And I was like, that's might be the one. But I also hadn't eaten all day, so I was really just like, let's get this over with. Why'd they pick the fake money for my thing? So my first impressions of people were pretty shallow. I didn't really care.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That was a short answer question.
I love it. Ramble on, dude. Who cares?
Yeah. My first impression of Joe was like, I'm going to spend more time with this guy than any of the girls. I already know it. This is
that's true.
A guy, yeah.
Better hair.
Wish that he gave some of the hair to me. He had an Oregon robe. So I was like, you know, this guy's, and I think
that wasn't the first day though.
I think it was the first night you had the Oregon robe on. That's when you put it on.
Maybe it might have been. It was early on when I walked out in my Speedo and Malcolm looked at me like, bro, you gotta put something on over that.
I mean, it's like, I just, right away, I kind of knew I was going to be the loner, like eating alone. And I was just like, just the Steven Glansberg, the guy who's just like watching, like planning on maybe shooting up the school. No, that's not cool. But I was just like, I think Joe's going to be the guy to talk me out of shooting up the Are You the One house. And he's going to be the guy to stop me from drowning myself in this pool. This guy's going to save my life because
I've talked to people down from some bad psychedelic trips before.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of good at that kind of stuff.
Totally. And then right away it was me, Shad, Joe, and Tyler, who after the first, second day, the girls, they knew who they wanted. They knew who they were going after. And then like we made this like unwritten pact, this unsaid pact that like us four, screw these girls. We're not going to hook up with the girls because it's all about the bro, the friendship. And then Joe hooks up with a girl, and that was the worst day ever. He really betrayed us when he made out with that was the worst day of my life when I found out that Joe broke.
I forgot about that.
Made out with he sold out. He went to the dark side.
He went to the dark side. He betrayed you.
Congratulations to her being engaged now, by the way.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And Audrey's having a kid. I mean, everyone. I feel like I'm the only single guy.
Tyler's single for sure. Did you see Tyler went back to the house the other night?
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he went there in like the middle of the night though. Got through the gate with his like film crew, which might have just been a guy with a camera. Went and knocked on the door, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you gotta leave."
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think it was on his TikTok. But yeah, he's single, but he's doing better than anybody. So
I'm gonna bring him up in a minute. But my next question, so were there like cameras all around, like at all times? Like, could you use your phone? Like, what was that like?
We hadn't had our phones since we got to the airport in New Orleans.
Did they take them?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. I don't know. I love my phone. I feel like that's kind of weird.
No, dude. Well, we had 10 days in like a Holiday Inn where we weren't even allowed to leave our room.
What do you do? Like watch TV and jerk off?
A lot of that, yeah. I mean, some of the guys
right.
some of the guys were just working out nonstop. I'm sure like Dimitri started sneaking over, knocking on my door and be like, "Hey," like, and that's when me and him became friends, because I was like, and I mean, he was kind of like a little spazzy, super into fitness, maybe gay. I was like, I'm not sure. Love him to death, but like I'm just chilling in my room, like just passing the time, like hoping that my girlfriend's not cheating on me, just being like, I fucking hate this better be worth it. And he comes and knocks on my door and he's like, "Hey, you want to like work out?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I don't do that shit." And then
that's like me.
He would always be spazzing about that one guy that we got fired, not giving him his vitamins. He was like, "They're not giving me my vitamins like often enough and stuff like that. Like I need or maybe he's calling it medicine. I don't remember, but he was like, I need it, and they're not like giving it to me. And he was very upset about it. Come to find out later, he's talking about fat burners.
Oh my god!
Like the little like capsules that you take.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he's shredded. He still is. Like he's like a track guy and everything. But so he was always like trying to like tell me how we were gonna get me in shape and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to do any of that.
It's funny how like when they first dropped the Are You the One cast photo, certain people got like the most. I think Dimitri was like the most popular person on Are You the One before the first episode, and then that changed really. Yeah, because he looked the best in that photo. And
Malcolm must have been standing behind somebody else then.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I think Dimitri's just got the complexion where like you could see all the outlines of every ab line. It was just like it paid off for him, because when everybody else was talking to people, Dimitri was just working out 24/7. So yeah.
So there were 4 minutes away, I guess. Yeah.
So there were basically cameras like all around, like all the time. Like what about when you're sleeping? There's cameras there too.
Oh yeah. There's like night vision cameras. We all slept in the same room. Yeah. If somebody was fucking, everybody in America was gonna know.
And the cameras moved too. And there's
so they weren't people with cameras. They're like cameras on the wall, or like
every
this is like a Big Brother thing then, where there's like cameras and they can control
hide. Everywhere you were laying or sitting, cameras, you were being watched. There's not one place in that house where you can
except for I think in the bathroom, like in like the toilet stall of like the bathroom. Like the rest of the bathroom, was cameraed, but like if you're like literally in the bathroom, shut the door, like you're good. I'm not sure if there were doors on our bathroom, but I'm sure the girls had a bathroom door. But
what about the
so
shower?
If you were, well, I'm sure there was a camera on the shower. Our shower had a big glass wall. I'd always have to wait for it to steam up before I could get in there.
But, I mean, like Big Brother, the TV show, always has a camera like right by the shower, so like that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. But if you were in the bathroom for too long, they'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing? You alone in there?" But yeah, there's cameras everywhere. But obviously, the cameras they hold are much better quality. So like sometimes, even though there's cameras everywhere, we would still have to sit in a room and be quiet until like the cameras were like switching out batteries and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes it would take forever. And the AC went out very quickly because they were using what I immediately recognized as like LED marijuana grow lights. I don't think they sell them that bright for any other reason.
Oh my God.
Like, you can buy LED lights for your house, but these were like the 5x5, like the five beam like strip lights, like just put up all over the house. And there's no way that house, whenever it was built, was manufactured to handle that much heat. So we lost AC and they'd fix it and it'd break. And so sometimes we'd be sitting there upstairs, like they'd separate the guys and the girls when they had to do camera switches and stuff. And it would be hours and hours and hours of just being quiet in the hot. And it was horrible. And some people had so worse video than others.
Oh God. I mean, but it was so weird because wouldn't they pump oxygen into the house? Because as
like
much
a casino.
As much as we would drink, we would never get hungover. Like we'd wake up at 9 a.m., do interviews, and then just be ready to rock.
You didn't drink like I did then.
Well, you were hungover?
He was drunk the whole time.
I would get as drunk as possible because
how did you get so much alcohol? Like there was only a limited amount.
I hate to say it, but I made a few more friends than you did, and a lot of the times they'd give me theirs.
Oh, so you had designated alcohol? Like each person gets this amount?
No, it'd be more like the house gets this amount, and when it's gone, it's gone. And then we'd have to ask for more, and they'd be like, here's a little more. And so also I taught this trick to Marco, and he loved it on X on the Beach. But when they would bring the beers in initially, I would hide them around the house in like potted plants and stuff. And then we would run out and I'd be like, oh shit, we're out. And then they'd bring more. And I'd be like, I still have more. Now I have more.
Ooh, smart. Brilliant.
But on X on the Beach is honestly maybe even more restrictive, probably because we were in Justin Bieber's house. I think he sued MTV for the amount of damage.
I saw that you guys were in Bieber's house.
Wow. Yeah, I think it was the production team like putting holes places for wires and cameras and all. I think like they probably fucked up the house. Like us, bumping into a wall extra hard, or like even punching a wall, I don't think I think it was what the production did.
Why would Justin Bieber allow that? Like he's too rich.
He probably has 7 houses.
No, I think it was. I think I saw it was like $10,000 a night is what they paid him.
That's like
$100,000 a show. Like why is he doing that?
$10,000 a night's like nothing for Bieber.
I mean, maybe he like had a soft spot for MTV and thought it'd just be a cool thing, like if you already had everything and you were like, something you've always liked once, something you'll always be able to remember and like go watch, be like, oh, that's my house. I'm not sure if he still owns it, but he probably also has lots of houses. And that one, because of the side of the island that it was on, the weather was almost always shitty. And he probably was a little bit like, well, that was a mistake, honestly.
Oh, he probably never.
Or he just goes during the 2 months that it's not shitty. And the rest of the time he's like, I don't know what to do with it. Might as well use it.
$10,000 a day. Let's make some money.
Yeah.
So how long did like filming actually take? How many episodes were in the season?
10.
So it wasn't 10 weeks, right? It was probably a lot less than that.
Well, I think the budget, the ideal plan is for 3 days per episode. So 30 days, 10 episodes, because
you got the dates and all that shit, right?
Because day 1 is a challenge or a game or whatever to win a date. Mm-hmm. Day 2 is the date. And day 3 is you vote for, right? Is that how it goes? Or is the challenge the same as the date? I don't remember. But so like you have like the challenge, the date, and then voting for the couples from the date to send to the truth booth. So that was another little twist, is like the couple had to win a challenge to get a date to be eligible to be voted for. So towards the end, we were kind of like throwing challenges, like let them win so we can see if they're a match. But yeah, so that's like a 3-day turnover, and then we'd start it all over again. And then they stretch those 3 days out into weeks. But we had a flood. So ours, I think, took like 56 days or something like that because our house flooded.
It flooded while you were there.
Yeah, it was.
Second day.
This is crazy. Yeah,
It was the second or the third day that the whole place flooded and everything got all fucked up. The electrical got all fucked up. They had to put us back into the hotels after we already knew each other
for like 10 days.
And then they gave you a friend. Everybody got a friend to be in the room with. And so it'd be like 2 guys, 2 girls per room, which had to have messed up the trajectory of the show a little bit because of the amount of like talking and planning and gossiping they could be doing after they'd already met all the guys and the girls. But then like they would take us to get Smoothie King sometimes. And like we go to the gym sometimes, which me and Ethan thought was just stupid.
I think it's stupid too.
Like take us to a movie or something like that.
Yeah, right.
But they wanted these guys to, I mean, there were certain people that were only there because, well, their muscles were like 80% of the reason why they were there. And the producers would pressure them all the time. You guys need to go work out, get your workout in. And then while they were working out, they had 3 cameras on them. Meanwhile, me and Joe were having the most hilarious conversation, but all the cameras are being hogged by these broy dudes spotting.
Broy dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be as funny if you're sober and not us, but like, we were just roasting some of the decisions these people were making.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, and like we were out in like New Orleans at this point, or maybe we were like I don't remember which part we were in. We weren't in like French Quarter, but we were like kind of out and about. We just had like a driver, and like guys would be kind of like trying to like flirt with like random girls walking down the street and like waving them out the window, and like. And I think people probably knew there was like a show being filmed there because definitely that was the vibe some girls gave. That we would just see walking like past the gym and stuff. Ethan, weren't you the one that at that point went and used the computer in the lobby?
Oh yeah. I snuck out. I could have got a guy fired. I snuck out and I said, "Hey, this is the worst decision I've ever made. Please come rescue me. This is where the hotel is." Yeah, I was like sending breadcrumbs to people.
Sending breadcrumbs.
I felt like Olivia Pope on Scandal after she got kidnapped.
But we would definitely at that point, like once the like chaperones were gone, we would like sneak into each other's rooms and like hang out and stuff. And that was like another. I don't remember I have no idea how long. Time seems weird now, but like
I think that was like 9 days of like, after like we were in the house for 2 days and people were just starting to kind of like hit it off with each other, and then we ripped them. And like literally that night, like I had all the girls tell me, "Hey, tomorrow we're gonna all have a 12-some with you." And then the storm, then Mother Nature was my biggest cock block. And then by the time I got back into the house, they acted like they forgot. They said they all wanted to bang me. So that was my story on our.
Damn, Steph is going off right now.
So
I wish I could check the stats and place a bet, but you guys are.
I know I should have gambled. Fuck. But so like they took your phone from the beginning, and then like you couldn't touch your phone until like the end.
Yeah, not until it was all over.
Even when you were in like the hotel room during the flooding, like you didn't have your phone.
No,
dude, what do you do?
Nothing. I got to hang out with Dimitri and watch him work out.
Like if I look at my screen time on my phone, like I'm on my phone 8 hours a day plus. Like what the fuck do you do?
That's not even counting porn.
Yeah, right.
But what was I gonna say? Fuck, I took the Mavericks and they're just getting their asses kicked. But I do have to go relatively soon. We have a reservation at 8 and it is 7:22. So if you have I'd probably say I gotta leave here in like 25 minutes.
All right, 20 minutes, we'll wrap it up. All right, so next topic I got for you. Do you guys know like, or can you think of the craziest thing that didn't make it to TV during your season?
Oh my God.
Me making out with Celeste didn't make it. Just because it had nothing to do with relationship. That was another spite move. I'm a very petty person. Oh my God.
Me too. I'm so fucking petty.
Because remember, she just said she hated me for so long. And I was like, I think you like me. And then remember for a little while she did after that. And I was just like, I was kidding. And I thought it was hilarious. No disrespect to her current relationship, but.
All right, folks, let me tell you all about the pump action shotgun tool. Whoa, there's a tool for shotgunning? Hell yeah, there is. So listen to this. The pump action shotgun tool, created by the Drunk Engineers. Love that name, by the way. It makes shotgunning a hell of a lot easier, and let me tell you how. So you're going to take your beer, and you're going to stick it right in the shotgun tool, like this. Hold it like that so the air pockets are up here, and then you're going to give it a little squeeze. You're going to hear pop, bam, pop. But look at that. no mess. So right now the air pocket's right up here, and you're going to want to make sure you take this, push that down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the tool. Hold the beer can in place to the mouthpiece. Then you're going to put your mouth on the mouthpiece and shotgun. And boom, no mess. You can shotgun at the dinner table, family events, wherever you want with absolutely no mess. So forget shotgunning, slamming a knife right through. Yeah, not a thing anymore. Thanks to the pump action shotgun tool by Drunk Engineers. And you can get yours right now. So just log on to www.drunkengineers.ca. Don't forget to use promo code GarageBoozing for 15% off site-wide. That's right, promo code GarageBoozing for 15% off site-wide. Go get yours now. Thank me later. Back to the show.
There was the funniest thing, the hardest I've ever laughed in my entire life was this moment on Are You the One when Shad, I forgot what Shad did to Zoe. Shad disrespected her.
He said that her mom wasn't a good mom because she let her party all the time or something.
Yeah. So Shad would talk crap about Zoe's mom, said your mom was a bad mom. I think he was making a joke about it, but Zoe is like very close. Her mom's her best friend. She gets emotional.
So Shad was talking about how he grew up, and Zoe basically said, I had the fun mom. And then Shad has a very dry sense of humor. And he was like, sounds like she was a pretty bad mom or something like that. And Zoe just flipped a switch and was crying. I'm sure alcohol was involved. And then the producers kind of were trying to see how this was going to spin into the storyline. So they told people like, Zoe's going to call Shad out at the matchup ceremony tonight. You guys need to decide whose side you're going to be on and everything. And I didn't know what really happened. I didn't know that she was just drunk and like overreacting. So I kind of was like, yeah, Shad, you need to apologize for being a twerp. But that's what happened in the matchup. It's like, it was just all everybody versus Shad thing. And he handled it super well.
And he handled it super. So basically, she was like, I was hurt by what you said, Shad. Shad, I need you to say sorry. And basically, it took up 20 minutes of this.
No, more.
Match. It was half of the whole thing. Shad would not say sorry. And they were like, Shad, just say sorry. And he's like, well, if I say sorry now, then I'm going to have to say sorry for everything I do. And then he was like, and then they were like,
he kept saying, I'm sorry if what I said made you feel bad.
Yeah,
that's
what he kept saying. You feel that way.
So it's like an apology, but not really an apology.
Basically, it's like, I'm sorry, but it's you're in charge of your own emotions, which is probably the accurate statement.
All right, so both your screen names, Ethan, you go by Emoney. Joe, you go by the Prince of Norway. Where did both of those come from?
Mine came from when I was like 14. My family went to Norway for my brother's graduation trip, and my uncle had a family tree, and he was like, as like a special treat for us coming in or whatever, he like had like a yarn line that showed how you could trace like my lineage back to the first king of Norway. His name was, they called him King Harold the Fair-Haired, which is part of the inspiration behind me changing from the spiky buzz cut to the long hair. But when I went home, I changed my MySpace name to Prince of Norway. MySpace. And it just stuck because it was Turbo Douche before that.
Turbo Douche?
Turbo Douche.
Turbo Douche. Prince of Norway, way better than Turbo Douche.
Well, yeah, because at some point, what are these messages I'm getting? Are they saying I'm like out of data? What the? Hi, it's Verizon. You can trade in your phone. I just switched to AT&T. Did I lose you guys? Did you hear that?
You're there. I see you.
Okay, so Verizon's trying to get me back now. They keep sending me these messages that look like they're going to say I'm out of data, but I'm on Wi-Fi, and I'm like, what's that? And they're offering me a trade-in. I just got a new phone. I haven't even opened the box, and it's AT&T now. But so the name just stuck. At one point, I was talking to somebody who knew, like somebody who like worked at Facebook, and they were talking about like getting my Instagram verified. And they're like, you have to change your name to your real name, though, because we can't verify you as the Prince of Norway, because there's a real Prince of Norway. He's like 7, but still, like, he's the real Prince of Norway. Like, you can't take his name. And when I changed it, this wasn't long after the show. And I got, I don't know who got the most followers, because some people already had a lot, like Zoe, Michael, Clinton. Uche now probably has the most. Erin Clinton's love marriage relationship has been super popular, but I was up there with people who got the most followers because of the relationship with past seasons and then X on the Beach or whatever. But there was just anarchy. People were like, who's Joe Torgerson? Bring back the Prince of Norway. And after like a week, after like a week, I still wasn't verified. And I was like, it's not worth somebody else taking it and me never getting it back. So I just said, screw being verified. And I've been back to Prince of Norway ever since.
Emoney makes it happen. He's verified, or is it Emoney makes babies? Now? I don't know. You changed it a couple times.
Emoney, yeah. I started off with Emoney makes babies. That's what it
That's
was.
the best. Why'd you change it?
Well, let's go back to why it was that. And that's because I think he fed himself in college by donating sperm.
Yeah. Yeah, I fed little plastic cups with my sperm, and then it's how I fed myself.
So really, it was Emoney makes babies, just not in the fun way.
Yeah, I have 8. There's about 8 reported pregnancies out there, and I just feel bad because this was before I started losing my hair, and you're not allowed to be a donor if you have hair loss because I want to smack my dad for giving birth to me because I don't wish this on my worst enemy, and now a lot of my 8 seeds out there are probably going to be bald. So, but hopefully the technology will be good by then and everyone could look like Joe or Chase. You know?
Yeah, I love that.
Oh my God, dude.
So where did Emoney come from?
Oh, Emoney came from just because I'm money, like every time you look at me, you look at what I'm wearing, you're like, he's just dripping. He's got sauce. It's money. You see me on the basketball court, schooling Joe one-on-one, money.
Non-water polo.
I think I did okay in those games, but
non-water polo.
Yeah, me and Ethan. Well, yeah. How about pool basketball? Ethan?
Yeah, I've gotten some buckets on you, but you're right. I'm bad.
No, me and Ethan, I think probably like 90% of the nights there, you're only allowed to take off your microphone if you are planning on being too sweaty to mess it up, or like showering or in the pool. Other than that, you have to have the microphone on 24/7 or sleeping. But so we would just always go play basketball, and we would always take our microphones off, and then we would just say the most reckless things that producers would hate.
Sure.
Right.
It was also fun,
So do you guys like? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
What I was going to say is the producers, I don't know if they asked you, but they asked me, like, is there anything specific for the house that could like help your, I don't know, character development, having fun, whatever. And I said, is there a pool? They said, yeah. And I was like, how deep is it? And they said, half shallow, half deep. I was like, put a basketball hoop like right next to the pool so that it's like 8.5 feet out of the bottom of the pool, because you've seen the pool basketball hoop in my house, right? And I knew there was going to be a lot of guys more athletic than me there, but I was like, there's not going to be anybody who can touch me at this. I was like, this would be fun for everybody. Everybody loves it, and it'll be something that I can be the best at. And it's just like, I would enjoy the shit out of it. And so when I got there, they're like, we got your basketball hoop next to the pool. And it was like a half a mile away in the parking lot. And it was full size.
Well, they had a full size basketball hoop.
Yeah, full-size basketball hoop, like in like the driveway. I was like, not what I meant. I was very specific, but I guess not specific enough. So yeah, me and Ethan played basketball every night.
We played, and then me and Shad would play, and it was just kind of like where the rejects would just lament and pontificate on how dumb.
Shad would also sneak me his beers out there on the basketball court too. So that's part of also how I was drunker than anybody else.
So do you guys do you still keep in contact? Like, are you still friends with like your castmates?
Yes.
Kiana just came and stayed at the house that I got for Coachella. So she was there.
How was that experience?
Oh, it was some of the craziest, just random unnecessary drama. Just like a bunch of girls who didn't know each other bonding over how much they hated the guy whose house it was, who's letting them stay there for free. They stayed there. I mean, to be fair, he was giving off some Tinder swindler vibes a little bit. He's a cool dude. I like him a lot, but he was definitely flexing some shit. And he like brought in 2 separate girls to both stay. And then, I don't know, there was just all sorts of like, it was just weird. I didn't care. I had a great time. The dude was never there. The night I got there, he said he was in LA picking up Justin Bieber from the airport. I'm like, that may or may not have happened. Probably not. But like, I don't care. Like, you're letting me stay here. All I had to do is get you a VIP ticket. And you're letting my friends stay here.
I think you're cool already. Yeah.
Yes, I think you're
cool already.
He did foster a dog that was born without hips that had to be put on meth to not be like in excruciating pain. Like the day before we got there.
You say the dog was put on meth?
It said meth on the thing, like some sort of amphetamine and meth was in there. And like this dog, if he took the medicine, he'd be like, but if he did, he was like down bad. It was like he like went to the shelter and was like, I want the most fucked up dog you guys have.
Oh
And I want him right now. I'm gonna have a bunch of total strangers staying in my house. I'm not gonna be there half the time. But like, I don't understand the point of that really. Like maybe some points with the girls or something like that, but that's not how it worked because they felt the dog wasn't getting adequate care. And it was just all this shit. They're all like bickering and everything. And Kiana was definitely significantly involved in that.
It's cool that he got like a dog that wasn't perfect though. Like that's kind of cool.
No, it was the most fucked up dog ever. And he was like at the shelter. He was born at the shelter. At the shelter, they have like a pool. It's hot as shit in Palm Springs. He'd be having fun in the pool. Here, he's just in this house, hot and dying. It was like I would have left him there. But yeah, so I see Kiana sometimes whenever I go to Vegas and stuff. I see Nerys and Didi most of the time. If I come to LA, they usually come out at least once.
You guys have like a group chat with all you guys like together and like you still talk?
No, that didn't last very long. Remember the group chat?
Yeah, the group chat was popping. I mean, every time I would, because it's 22 people, every time I would turn away, there'd be like 100 messages.
But it only
that's
lasted
when you mute
it. The group dynamic fell apart.
It lasted until the show started airing. And it was awkward. Like it aired, and then no one said anything in the group chat.
Butter.
We just
let's Butter the dude.
Yep, Butter, come here. Hey,
Butter the.
Hey, you want your toy? Come here.
Wait, it's
so
not.
Who would you guys say is like the most successful of your castmates? Would it be Tyler?
Yeah, definitely Tyler.
Dude, that guy's blowing up right now.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
out of nowhere. We're all super happy, and I'm not jealous at all because I didn't.
Nobody deserves it less.
Nobody deserves it less.
No,
Like, dude, I mean,
He works
that
really hard.
guy's music is great. Like, it's
is.
awesome. But I'm not gonna lie.
that.
Like, Ethan, like, I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. Like, your music and shit, like Jabba the Hutt, shit like that is so fucking sick. And like, dude, you can spit. So like, oh, didn't you guys did a song together, right?
Yeah, we've done a bunch of music together.
I'm just gonna say this: the amount of kind of like help that Ethan gave Tyler along the process of starting and on the show. Tyler's coming to Portland on Monday. I'm not going because it's the last game of my men's basketball league that I helped put together. And if I lose, there's no chance of me making it to the finals. So I can't go. It's just bad timing on his part. But I would have expected Ethan to open that show.
I mean, it's you can't, when you get that famous, you don't even make your own decisions, you know.
I feel like if it wasn't for TikTok though, do you think he would have blown up the way he did if it wasn't for TikTok? Because TikTok really helped him a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like his music quality is good enough that could have obviously gotten better with exposure, getting more opportunity to, you know, producers and equipment to make it better. But I feel like his music's good enough to be where it is regardless. But I feel like a lot of people's music is good enough to be where he is, but he got there because of that. And he had a great system, the paying people to repost it thing. So it's like,
how do you say, is it Ty Verdi? Like, how do you say it?
Ty Verdes.
Yeah. Say it again.
Ty Verdes.
I just say Ty Green.
Okay. Whatever.
Tyler's the most successful for sure. Nerys is probably second.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Didi was in a Doritos commercial today on TV. Nerys is in every Target in the country though.
I saw her at my local Target the other day. I saw she posted something, and then you like posted something because you saw her, I think. And then I was literally going through Target and I saw her. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right.
Shad's super successful with his engineering stuff. He never needed to do the show, and that was abundantly clear from the moment he got there that he was like, well, this was a mistake.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you got to go really soon, so I'll make this really fast. Is it okay if we get political for a second? Like kind of political, is it okay? All right. So obviously Roe versus Wade, big thing right now. What are your guys' thoughts?
Butter. There's no one there.
Wow, that I didn't expect it to go there. I mean,
I like political sometimes. I like to know what people think because I feel like it makes me learn.
Ethan said he wants to slap his dad for having him, so that probably gives his stance on it.
I mean, if it weren't for Roe versus Wade, my baby mama would be a meth head, and I would have never been on Are You the One. I would have been stuck in my hometown because I was, you know, I look. But then at the same time, girls who make that tough decision, that very mature, tough decision to get an abortion, that is a sign of a great character, and those are the people who should be moms. So I think that people who make that decision to have an abortion should be forced to keep the kids, because we need people with that type of emotional intelligence. That's my stance.
All right, I'll take it seriously for you. So have you seen the opening scene of the movie Idiocracy?
I can't say I have.
Oh no, you need to go watch it after this. Basically, it's showing how people with higher IQs, higher incomes, people who really are better fit to be parents are the ones who are going to say, I need to be more financially secure to have a kid. I need to be more stable with my housing to have a kid. Oh, the economy's bad right now. I don't want to have a kid in this economy. The ones who look at more of the just outside factors, more so than just like, I would be a great parent. So like, I'm going to do it now. I'm gonna make it work. And me and Michaela are kind of in that spot right now where we really want to have kids, but like, we want to own our home first. And like, we want to be a little bit more stable before we do that. And not saying I have an IQ, but you can ask the, Are You the One producers if they even looked at that test. And whereas the people with the lower IQs that are just fucking everything. And in the beginning of the movie, it shows a couple with high IQs and good jobs, and they end up waiting so long throughout this opening sequence that now they're infertile by the time they're finally ready. Whereas this like jock dude is just like fucking all the cheerleaders. He's got a couple kids before he graduates. And then now he's dirt poor because of the decisions he made. And he's got all these kids. And now he's got teenagers having kids. He's fucking the neighbor, and she's pregnant at one point. The girls he lives with and his neighbor are both pregnant with his kids. And his oldest son has a bunch of kids already, or pregnant girls. And it just shows that our population growth and our IQ level as a nation have been decreasing over time, which is true. And it's like an exaggerated view of like what's actually kind of happening. So like, I'm not one to say that people should be forced to have kids if they're not ready. There's a lot of people who aren't ready who I think shouldn't. But when it comes to Roe versus Wade, I used to be very much like, I would get into the clickbait and be like, oh, well, I mean, if somebody gets raped, they shouldn't have to have that baby. Well, you know, a lot of people make mistakes, blah, 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 blah. But as I got older, I started to realize like, no one's trying to ban abortion. Roe versus Wade getting repealed, all that's going to do is put it to the state level. And
exactly.
It's like vote for your representatives who are going to represent you for how you want to be represented. So like, instead of having, I don't like federal blanket decisions. So Roe versus Wade would just bring it back to the state level. The other thing is, no one's trying to ban abortion. You know, milk has an expiration date. Milk is not banned. They say drink this before May 27th. That doesn't mean you're never allowed to drink it. So like some of these states that are passing 12 weeks, 16-week heartbeat or heartbeat, whichever happens first, laws aren't saying you can't have it. They're saying like, be responsible, do it in a timely fashion. And so the question that I think we need to ask ourselves is, at what point in a pregnancy is an abortion more like taking a Plan B pill in the first 3 days, which I think, you know, like the fourth day, because the Plan B is too late, you have an abortion. It's basically the same thing, just a little bit more invasive. Whereas once you get past 6 months, or even some of these states that allow up to 6 days after birth, then I ask, at what point is it closer to drowning your toddler in a bathtub? Because that's the spectrum, that's the meeting point we need to decide on, is at which point is it more like taking a Plan B, and at which point is it more like drowning a toddler? Also, I will say that a lot of people look at like European countries and they're like, oh, America is like so fucked because of like our restrictions on women and immigration and different things like that. Immigration, there's not any other country you can immigrate to the way you can the United States. You can't just go live places. But places like Germany and France, a lot of them have much more restrictive laws on abortion, like 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 8 weeks. And so like some of these people who are so mad about this don't even know that the states they're mad at have more lenient policies than entire countries that they claim to look up to. So that's when I get back to I think it should not be banned, but I think setting a time restriction on it is reasonable. Also, when I look at the things like rape and stuff like that, where I'm like, you know, that should be an exemption. You know, I think there's exceptions to every rule.
Totally.
And I think medical necessity, the mother's life is obviously more important to the mother, and it should be more important. Like she should be able to make that call. Like, I don't want to die for this baby that might not make it anyways. Exceptions to every rule. But when I think about the rape thing, I didn't think about it like this before, but it's like, if I got raped, I wouldn't wait 4 months to find out. I would probably take Plan B that day So what I think is that pregnancy tests, contraceptives.
That's actually really fucking smart.
I think that all of these first response options should be free, because some people say, well, I have an injection thing, like whatever those are called, and so I can still get pregnant. And I'm like, so basically that's more convenient. You don't have to wear condoms, more pleasurable. You don't have to take a pill every day. You're trading a little window of uncertainty for some convenience. If if pregnancy tests are free, and you know that, if it was me, I'd be peeing on sticks all the time, just to be sure. It's like, I did the responsible thing. I got a long-term contraceptive, but I know there's a small chance, and these sticks are free, and I pee all the time. So I'm just going to check every couple of weeks. I know I'm getting raw dogged, whether it's in the back of a Ford Pinto or wherever. I know I'm having unprotected sex. These options are free. I'm going to check. I'm going to be responsible. I'm going to be accountable. So I think that it has to be both. I think that birth control, condoms, I think condoms already are free. Pregnancy tests, I think those things should all be free and available. I think there should be a time restriction on abortion with situations that, go past that. What was the word that I used? I don't know why I'm spacing on this. Exceptions.
You're right.
I lost the word.
I totally agree. I definitely think there should be exceptions to the rule.
But I don't think that putting a heartbeat ban, like you can't do it once it has a heartbeat. I don't think that's unreasonable, especially if all these options are free. I think that just comes down to a small amount of personal accountability. And I don't think it's the end of the world. And other countries don't think it is either. So the fact that we're up in arms here is because of the way that our media portrays the end of the world. We're banning them. The word ban has never been involved. Again, that was a 5-minute answer to a.
No, that was a super educated answer, though. Like I love your response. Ethan, you have anything to say to that?
I mean, I just feel like a lot of people shouldn't even, it should be illegal for a lot of these people to have babies. Like you need to take you need to do a background. If it's if you like the extensive, the background check to get on Are You the One, they at least need to do that before having a baby.
You need a license to fish.
Right, to fish. And now you could be a crack whore and have a kid, and every kid with a crackhead mom is probably the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So, I wish I had more time, because I'd love to get into like drugs and.
Oh, we can do this again anytime.
The things going on in like my hometown, everything like that. Well, Michaela already walked out the front door. She only heard the abortion part, which is kind of a hot topic even in our own relationship. I don't think that she necessarily disagrees with me. She's very much on the side of like, no one should be able to tell a woman what to do. And that's where and I'm not a fan of government overreach either. But it's like, you got to weigh humanity versus like what's right. And it's like in a lot of states, like some places are passing things where like you can't get charged for like a neglect murder if your baby dies for 26 days after it's born. There are places where you can have an abortion after the baby's born. You can look at it and say, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's fucked.
And so like there are people who say like Trump, for example, he is inflammatory. I think he did some things right. People think I'm a Trumper because I don't like Biden. You know what I mean?
You've been very political on Twitter, and I follow it.
Yeah, for sure. And like he was in Virginia, and he said they want to pull your baby out of the womb and cut their heads off. And I'm like, you shouldn't have fucking said that.
Because they're not going to do that.
No, they are. But
they're going to cut their heads off?
For you to get a lot of the organs and stem cells for the maximum amount of value for saving another person's life, donating stem cells. And really it comes down to money with the organizations that are doing this. They get more money for this. They get more living organs. They get more stem cells if they lobotomize the baby with the heart still beating. Somebody fact check that and let him know if I'm wrong. But I've done a little bit of research into this. So they get more money. They can save more people. They can donate more stem cells if they remove the brain while the heart is still beating. So he said, pull the baby out and cut their head off. He could have said, remove the brain while the heart's still beating to maximize profits, and it would have been a little less inflammatory and colorful. But the way he said it, nobody's going to listen to him the way that he said it. People are going to be like, no, they're not. And I was like, no, they're not. And then somebody actually showed me some of this information where it's like, technically they are. He said it like a dick, though. But I got to go. She just texted me. She's in the car.
Yeah, no worries.
It's fucked that she only walked in on this part and she didn't hear any of the other stuff. That was a lot more lighthearted. I told her, I was like, I made a deal. I'm going to buy a projector. We're going to do a date in our backyard with a movie projector. I'm taking her to a nice Italian restaurant right now. and we have to get married in Italy. She shoots for the stars of these things, but it's like, you got to go in the other room. You got to go in the other room so that I can feel like I'm not being judged while I'm talking, which I did when she was walking out the door. But she's like, what even is this podcast? I was like, I don't know. It's Ethan and this guy. Like, it's kind of a big deal. Dozens of people are going to listen to this.
Dozens.
But she's in the car. I got to go.
Yeah, peace out.
I gotta get out of
This light
here.
got so much brighter after the sun went down.
No, Ethan, can I borrow you for one more question after he hangs up?
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
All right, peace out, Joe. Thanks for coming.
Joe, that was awesome.
That's so funny. All right, so my last question here for you is,
Yeah.
so the other day when we were in a group chat, right? We were trying to schedule the podcast, and you said that you couldn't make it because you had an ankle bracelet release party.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell me about that before we say goodbye?
Yeah, my friend, let's just say a lot of people in LA will do anything and everything for clout, and they will use anything. So one of my friends is a recovering alcoholic. She's 6-7 months sober now, and she has an ankle monitor, and she hid it from a lot of people. She was afraid, and then she did it in one TikTok. She showed her ankle monitor, and then it blew up. So then she changed her entire internet persona to ankle monitor baddie, and she threw a party for her ankle monitor release with a bunch of sober people just drinking LaCroix and talking about how much better their life is sober. Like, that's all sober people do, is just talk about how happy they are to be sober. And
how was the party? Was it fun?
Oh, I actually didn't go. I was yeah. And she got mad, and then she was like, why didn't you go to my ankle monitor release party? And I was like, because if I went there, I would have been so depressed. I would have got so pissed off that this is a party that I would have got drunk, got a DUI on my way home, and then got an ankle monitor on my own, and I wouldn't have posted about it on Twitter and got clout for it. So I just, I don't really like going to things that I get.
I don't like going to things.
I like getting invited. That's the best part.
That's the best part.
Is getting invited and then not showing up, and then just like the satisfaction you get of having someone say, damn, I wish Ethan was here. That's what
even if you're not going, the invite is the best part, right?
Exactly. But then if you don't go to like 5 parties in a row, then people are going to be like, they're going to stop inviting you. So you have to go to like 1 every 3 parties and only go there for like 20 minutes just to do enough to get the invite. Cause it's really sad to not get, I mean, no matter what, I'm going to spend all my time alone. But if I spend all my time alone and no one invites me to shit, that's when it's sad. When you're alone, but you feel wanted, then you don't really feel alone, So
Totally.
It's depression.
Oh my God.
That's how you cope with depression right there.
That's how you cope with depression, he says.
Get invited to shit.
All right. Well, I won't take any more of your time. Thank you so much for joining me. Honestly,
it's been fun, dude, for real.
Oh, this was a blast. One hell of a conversation. We'll have to run it back again sometime. That was awesome. But bro, thanks again so much. And we'll see you nerds next week.
Hey nerds, please don't forget the #1 way to support the brand. Buy some merch. We've got hats, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and it's all available to you at www.garageboozing.net/shop. And don't forget to follow on all your favorite social media accounts as well as YouTube at Garage Boozing. And of course, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, whatever the button may be, to the Garage Boozing Podcast on your favorite podcast platforms so you can be notified as soon as a new episode is released.
Ladies, gentlemen, and nerds. Do you have what it takes to be a guest on the fastest growing, alcohol chugging, and nonsense talking podcast? Well, now is your chance. The Garage Boozing Podcast has new guests every week, and you could be one of them. Just simply log on to www.garageboozing.net, click the Be on the Show tab, and submit your information. It's that simple. Join the boozement, or be a loser. Don't miss your chance, because we're taking this to the moon.